Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? In today's video, an ASMR geography quiz, we're going to be using some quiz questions from this book. We're going to be using this world map. And lastly, we're going to be using this atlas of the world to quiz you on your world geography knowledge. I have done this type of video once before and it was super popular. So I hope that you're going to enjoy this video. But if you happen to realize that you are maybe smarter than you thought you were at geography, even better. Okay, we're going to start off going from easy, medium to hard. So I think that the quiz questions are the hardest. We're going to do some capitals and cities from this book, so I think that's medium. So we'll start off with this, which I think is the sort of easy version, because what we're going to do is we are just going to find the countries in the world. So we'll start with that. I really hope you enjoyed the video, either way. And don't forget to engage in the comment section and let me know how you did. Maybe you are going to do a lot better than you think. My fingers crossed for you. Okay, shall we start? I'm going to ask you to locate a country and I'm going to point it out on the map. Easy peasy. Let's start off with some easy ones. Russia. So 3, 2, 1. This is Russia. The largest country in the world for land mass. Not the largest for population. Okay, next one. 3, 2, 1. India. 3, 2, 1. This is India, this purple one here. This is the most populated country in the world. Look at the size comparison now. Although you can't live in a lot of the north of Russia because it's too cold and there's permafrost, so nothing will grow. Okay, let's go a little bit harder then. 3, 2, 1. We're going to find Panama. Panama. 3, 2, 1. Panama, in Spanish Panama, with the accent on the last A, Panama, is this one here. It connects Colombia and South America to North America. Some people argue that because the two are connected, they're not technically two different continents. Same thing with Europe and Asia, because they're connected. Some around here. That's not enough for some people. But I think they're judged on the tectonic plates currently. Although if that were the case, then the Caribbean has its own tectonic plate. So, okay, next one is Tunisia. 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 3, 2, 1. Tunisia is here. It's the smallest in land mass and population, just about, of the North African countries. It borders Algeria, Algeria is the largest country in Africa for landmass, and it borders Libya, which surprisingly has the smallest population of all of the North African continents. Egypt has by far the largest, with over 100 million people. But Libya, which is larger than it, has relatively very few. Okay, a couple more then. Now try and find the Philippines, the Philippine Islands, the Philippines. 3, 2, 1. The Philippines are actually here. This pink on the represented on the map by the colour pink. It's just below China and above Malaysia and Indonesia. And as the name suggests, they're a group of islands. That is the Philippines. At one point in their history they were ruled by, I believe, Spanish, and that's why there's some Spanish in one of the national languages, Tagalog, although there are many languages spoken in these islands. But Tagalog is one of the, it's usually associated with the Philippines, but not everyone speaks it, and certainly not as their first language, as far as I understand. But when you count in Tagalog, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. So yeah, there's some Spanish left over in the languages of the Philippines, particularly Tagalog. Okay, couple more then. Let's find Uzbekistan. A little bit harder for you now. Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan. And that's in 3, 2, 1. Here, this purple one, Kucht. Oh, that's a very Welsh word. Kuch is like to cuddle, to give someone a hug. Kucht in between Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan. We have Uzbekistan. Here. The language spoken is Uzbek, unsurprisingly, but actually, because the maps were drawn out fairly late, there are Uzbek speakers in Kazakhstan, in Kyrgyzstan, in Turkmenistan, in Tajikistan, and equally there's some Tajik speakers in Uzbekistan as well. There's some crossover, so it's not like the borders are really hard borders linguistically speaking. But Uzbek is the most spoken Turkic language in this region, and second in numbers only to Turkish, which is related to, and has some understanding with, particularly grammatically, but has a lot of words from Persian, come in from Iran, lots of words from Arabic, which Turkey also has in their language, and lots of words from Russian, which came in during the Soviet era, which people from Turkey wouldn't understand when they were trying to talk to each other. But essentially they are originally from the same language, from Mongolia, which doesn't represent that language, is very different now. But the Turkish language that came over with the Golden Horde, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, not Tajikistan. Tajikistan speaks a form, along with half of Afghanistan, a form of Persian, which is called Tajik, but is very understandable to speakers in Iran. And the other language, Turkish language here, is in Azerbaijan and this area. Cuba. closest island in the Caribbean to the United States, very close to Florida. Hence, historically, when the Cuban Revolution was ongoing, so many ended up going in boats to Florida. Now Miami is basically ethnically Cuban. So yeah, that's Cuba. People like Gloria Estefan came across when they were very young to the United States. So that's the island of Cuba. And one more. Let's find Poland. Poland. This is the last one. Poland. 3, 2, 1. That's Poland in orange. And it's a very large country, actually. One of the largest in the European Union, both in terms of land mass and population. As you can see, it borders Ukraine. Linguistically, Ukrainian is a mix of Polish and Russian. Ukrainian is a language in its own right. I apologise to the Ukrainians watching. For some reason Crimea is in green, but it obviously should be in pink. And Ukrainian is a very beautiful language. Polish is a Slavic language like Ukrainian, Russian, Croatian, Slovenian, Serbian, Czech, Slovak, and many others, Bulgarian. But it is really difficult in comparison. For some reason it's a lot harder. Lots more sounds, and yeah, it's renowned as being one of the most difficult European languages you can learn, despite being written with the Roman alphabet, which Ukrainian isn't. Ukrainian's written with the Cyrillic alphabet. Poland's borders have also changed over time. After the Second World War, it moved to the left. So Germany used to be up to that point, and Poland was more over here with modern-day Belarus and Ukraine. I think Lviv may have been in the old Poland. Don't quote me. So Poland had very little shoreline. It had a tiny sliver of shoreline. So it was given a lot more land after the borders were redrawn after World War II. So the whole area of, is it called Silesia, I think, was taken from the German Empire and given to Poland in that area there. Okay, that's part 1. Let's look at part 2. We're going to do some capital cities and some cities now using the atlas. This one is the Philips School Atlas. We've seen this a lot on this channel. Okay. This country here is Serbia. What is the capital of Serbia? What is the capital city of the country of Serbia in Europe? 3, 2, 1. It is Belgrade. Belgrade is there. Belgrade. I believe in Serbian it's Beograd. Beograd. Off the top of my head. Okay. And with the context of Italy, this beautiful country in the shape of a boot, with 2 large islands, 2 largest islands in the Mediterranean Sea, I believe. Sicily and Sardinia. This is Corsica, which is part of France. So Rome is the capital of Italy, but the largest, or one of the largest cities of the north is here, and is very famous for both industry and fashion. So, a very large city in the north. Rome is the capital, which is one of the largest, particularly one of the largest three. Bonus points if you can name all three. 3, 2, 1. We have Milan, Milano, which is very famous for Milan Fashion Week. And the other two, if you wanted to get extra bonus points, are Turin, Torino, and Genoa. I've seen it written Genova in English. Genova, Genoa. Or maybe Genova in Italian. I never remember which one is Italian, which one's English. Genoa, Genova. Turin, these are in English, so I'm assuming Genoa is English and Genova with a V is Italian. Okay. This is the island, or islands, I should say, of Japan. Japan. In Japanese they are called Nihon. That's Japan. Sometimes an old Japanese, you might hear Nippon. The largest, the most populated capital city in the world, most populated city in the world, is the capital of this country. And it's just here. What is the name of the capital of Japan, which also happens to be the most populated city in the world? 3, 2, 1. It is Tokyo. Tokyo in English. In Japanese you say Tokyo. I studied Japanese for a year, and even in class it was very fun. So Tokyo is just here, and it's so big and sprawling that it's kind of engulfed some other cities which are nearby it. And it's also to be found on the main large island of Honshu. We have in the north Hokkaido, and several in the south, including Shikoku and Kyushu. Okay. So this is Canada. I believe Canada is the second largest city, second largest country for landmass on the planet, and also has the largest coastline, longest coastline of any country. There's that fun fact I've mentioned a couple of times, that if you were to stretch out and count every inch of coastline, then Norway, a much smaller country, would actually come in at number 2. But I think Canada still wins. This is Hudson Bay. We have some very large cities over this area. Of course we know that there are more people living in this area, this little triangle of Canada, than in the entire rest of the country. And another fun fact about Canada, this point here, the most southerly point, is actually below the top of the state of California. So the state of California comes up so high on the meridian, or maybe not the meridian, but on the line of the curvature of the Earth, that this point of Canada is actually below it. So Canada goes lower than the top of California. Okay. Toronto's here, Ottawa, the capital, and Montreal, 3 large cities. There's another large city over on the completely opposite coast. What is it? What is the name of the city in the... It's not a state, it's a territory, I think, of Columbia. Or maybe province. It's definitely not a state. The province of Columbia. What is the large city that's here on the coast? 3, 2, 1. It is Vancouver. Vancouver's here, and just below it on the map we have Seattle. Vancouver and Seattle very close to one another. And then of course you have Vancouver Island, a very beautiful place there. So we can see here Mexico. And Mexico comes down here. This is called Baja California, so Lower California, because of course California is just up there, and California was once part of Mexico many years ago. And we have this mountain range coming down the middle with volcanoes. And the capital city, you will probably know, is La Ciudad de México, or El Distrito Federal de México. The city of Mexico City is the capital of Mexico. Which city up here is just on the border with Texas? Which is the city right up here in the northeast, which is just on the border? We have two cities just on the border with the states. Tijuana is just the literal other side of San Diego. I suppose you could say Mexicali is also very close, but there's a city here just on the border with Texas. What is it called? 3, 2, 1. It is... see if I can find it myself. That's quite embarrassing if I can't even find it myself. Hang on a second. Okay, I found it. I won't tell you how long I was looking, that's quite embarrassing. It's Ciudad Juárez. El Paso is just the other side. El Paso, Texas, and then Ciudad Juárez. And actually the state ends just here abruptly. I saw it better on the other page, where we can see, so there's the state line for Texas, and it just comes in here, El Paso, and then on the other side of the international border, Ciudad Juárez, just over the border from one another. But actually there are quite a few. You could have answered with Nuevo Laredo and Laredo, Piedras Negras and Eagle Pass, Ciudad Acuña, actually I suppose it's Del Rio, yeah, many. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, let's do... so, here we have Germany, Poland that we spoke about earlier on, Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania is trying to pop in and say hello there, as is Denmark. This is the Czech Republic and then Slovakia. Used to be a country combined called Czechoslovakia. Then we have Austria, and next to Austria we have this country here called Hungary. What is the capital of Hungary? 3, 2, 1. It's called Budapest. In Hungarian I think it's pronounced Budapest with a sh sound. Budapest. I spent New Year there one time when I was in university. All my friends there was like 10 of us, and we all went to our youth hostel and spent a couple of days there. I highly recommend it, it's very nice. So that's Budapest. And the reason it's called Budapest is because there's a river running through it, and one side used to be a town called Buda, and funnily enough, the other side of the river was a town called Pest. I'm trying to remember which one's the larger. I think it might be Pest, but I could be completely wrong. But then they became one city, and just put the names together. Okay, that is all for the atlas. Last part of this video. Let's look at the gigantic geography quiz book. Okay, so I've done a video on this, but I'll do one question from it. Not all of you saw that video, I assume. Which country has the oldest flag in the world? Which country has the oldest flag in the world? Afghanistan, Turkey, Japan, or Denmark? Afghanistan, Turkey, Japan, or Denmark? No, I know the answer, but I'm just going to check. Yeah, it was correct. It is Denmark. Denmark has the oldest flag in the world. I think Scotland has also claims to be one of the oldest, but I think Denmark has been used for an extremely long amount of time, hundreds of years, maybe even longer. Okay, the Ural Mountains. The Ural Mountains separate which two continents? Which two continents? The Ural Mountains, or pronounced Ural as well, as a clue. The Ural Mountains separate which two continents? Which two continents? 3, 2, 1. It's Europe and Asia. When we looked at that map earlier on, they are the Ural Mountains are the ones between, in the middle of Russia. So Moscow is to the west, so it's part of Europe, and the rest of Russia is to the east. And the Ural Mountains are the dividing line, and they are the mountains that were formed when the two continents of Europe and Asia came together. This is a fun one. So, the majority of my subscribers, I think you said prescribers then, subscribers are from the States. So, what percentage of Americans have visited at least 10 countries? Now, I've definitely visited 10 countries, but even I don't know that many people who have. What percentage of Americans have visited at least 10 countries? Much easier to do if you're in Europe as well. I can be in Paris in like 45 minutes. Is it 11%, 28%, 44%, or 65%? 11, 28, 44, 65. What's this section called? Tourism. Number 18, the answer is 11%. I assumed it was going to be. I wonder what even in the UK, how many would have visited 10 countries? I'm trying to think whether my brother would have visited 10. I don't think he has. Political geography, and we love a bit of politics, don't we? Okay. Trying to find one that's not going to be too controversial with politics. Oh, okay, that's a good one. Which European country does Greenland belong to? Which European country does Greenland belong to? Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Which European country does Greenland belong to? Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. 3, 2, 1. It's Denmark. So Denmark having two answers. In fact, if I remember correctly, it says Greenland, brackets Denmark, actually on a map. So Greenland is an overseas territory of Denmark, as are the Faroe Islands just here. Geology. Okay. Into which type of rock is the Mount Rushmore structure carved? That's the Mount Rushmore structure in the United States of America. Is it limestone, granite, basalt, or anthracite? Into which type of rock is the Mount Rushmore structure carved? Limestone, granite, basalt, and anthracite. I don't know the answer to this question. I definitely have to look it up. If I have to guess, I would maybe say I'm going to say A. 6. Granite B. Granite. Okay, let's do one more question. Oh, I can't do anagrams at all. Ooh, population stats. What percentage of the population in Canada has French as their native language? What percentage of the population in Canada has French, le français, as their native language? Is it 5%, 12, 23, or 42? That's 5%, 12%, 23%, or 42%. And that says their native language, because of course in Canada everyone has to learn French. So their native language, 5, 12, 23, 42. Three, 2, 1. The question is number 5. 23%. Wow, really? That's good. Okay, last one. General knowledge. This is interesting. Number 7. Which European country is known as the land of no surnames? Which European country is known as the land of no surnames? I have no idea. Which European country is known as the land of no surname? I have absolutely no idea. Could it be, I don't know, Albania or something like that? Which European country is known as the land of no surnames? General knowledge 7. Iceland. Really? Oh, is it because technically they just use their father's first name as their surname? So it's like Jonsson. So their name was John. They say son or dotter. Jonsdotter or Jonsson. Okay, that makes sense to me. It's not the only country that does that, but that's an interesting one. Got me out. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and all its different aspects. Did you find that harder than the cities? And how did you do on the first section, which was looking at the countries? Let me know in the comment section if you are awake, and let me know how you did in general. We weren't really keeping count, but you can let me know if you're a genius if you want to. Okay, thank you so much for watching everyone. Take care, and I'll see you again very soon.